punk rock history. I don't know. I guess my cousins got me into punk and kind of turned me on to it. So like in the '70s, and they were going into CBGBs in New York and bringing that knowledge back to the suburbs is what it is over here. And so yeah, I grew up in I don't know, about 1980. Started playing guitar, and kind of about 13 started kind of listening to music and getting into the whole scene, and seeing what the older people were doing. And now about 1982 started wanting to get my own band together. So about 1983, 1984, starting up. Let's see, we had my first group was like, I don't know, the first real group was called The Gout, and it was like Ivy was in it, and Todd and Luke and Phil, and who else? We had Steve Cosmano, who was like he was in like millions of bands in North Jersey, and who else we have? Warm Love was like Brian Boucher on vocals. It was like his first punk band. And who else we have? Ivy was on drums. We have Mark Wright, and who else? Who else is in there? Me on guitar. I think that was it. Sam Schiffman, but I said we sounded better without Sam Schiffman. We had Sam Schiffman. He's like just playing lead the whole time. I was like, it was whatever. It is what it is. We had a couple gigs doing that band. It was hardcore. It was about 1984, 1985, and then we started getting into other stuff. I liked I used to go down to New Brunswick scene. I saw a lot of shows with Paul Decolator. Was friends with him and a bunch of the guys. AOD was playing all the time, and Pleased Youth and TMA, and God, there was so many great bands. There was Cyanamid and Detention, and forgive me if I don't mention your band, because there was tons of bands playing and lots of fun shows.
Railroad Avenue. Tell me about because shows still go on, as you know, because Screaming Females, perfect example. But so we're going back a while. It's like you remember Railroad Avenue, or you want to talk a little bit?
Well, no, I didn't really hang out there, man. I didn't really hang out Railroad Avenue. I hung out at the Core Tavern a lot. Patrick's, we went to Patrick's a lot back in the day, and ended up Martin Atkins like warehouse space. Ended up, he moved out like 1988, 1989. He moved out to Chicago. We actually got his warehouse space. We were over there for like 1989, and we used to, my band Lesser Kudu used to rehearse over there, and we lived there, and it was cool. And he had this like this loft space. And that was on Sanford Street, I think it was. I don't know. I can't remember. It was over at Patrick's. And I moved out to Alaska and California and all that. So, but anyway, so yeah, I was in out in anyway. So
What about little Bobby's father and that whole thing? Like,
yeah.
I always love that picture. Let's talk about that picture again, man.
Oh, you're talking about the Core Tavern?
Yeah,
okay.
That picture you bartending, man. Cause my ex-girlfriend was in love with you. She was like, "Oh, that guy's so hot."
Oh, me?
Yeah. Like,
oh, come on.
Yeah, she said it. I was like, where's that guy?
Who's your ex-girlfriend? Anyway, so yeah, it's just a bartender. I used to hang out there when I was underage back in the day. Don't tell nobody. Shh. And I used to hang out there all the time, and God, it was like, I used to go in there and play my band, The Dolphin Room. I was in high school, right? And I'm like 19 or whatever, just out of high school. We used to play in there all the time, and the thing was, go in there, play but don't drink. So that's what it was. So that was cool, and play with older folks. And anyway, and then we had other bands, Moby Dick and Lesser Kudu. And so anyway, I was like, I was already in there like all the time. And so when I turned 21, I said to Bobby, hey, let me bartend over here, give me a job, I come here all the time anyway. So he's like, fuck you, you've been coming here for years. What are you doing? You're 21 now, right? So yeah, he gave me a job. It was cool, and I was in there for a while, and yeah, it worked out. It was great. Mr. Albert was awesome, and I guess I wore out my welcome one time. I drank too many beers or something. I took some beers from behind the bar, and they're like, you're stealing from the bar. Mr. Albert got really mad at me, so I felt so guilty, But I never, I just never smoothed that over with him. But that's how it goes.
Some of the record shops, because you remember Cheap Thrills.
Oh yeah, Cheap Thrills.
It was a great youth for you, right?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Jersey that time.
Yeah, that was the whole scene, man. The whole scene was like Cheap Thrills was like that was like the main place to go, right in Brunswick. Was like Cheap Thrills. There was a comic shop, which then turned into, it was like a comic shop on was at Albany Street, and then it moved up to where Flamin' Groovies was. and then Flaming Groovies turned into then it turned into Flaming Groovies. Then it was Captive Video, the guys the guys from the Smithereens, Jimmy and Dennis from the Smithereens. We used to hang out there all the time, and we used to see like all the punk guys, buy some Resistance and Please Youth, and got all the punk bands would be hanging out at Cheap Thrills, and there was like Cheap Thrills was like a head shop at one time. They had like pipes and bongs and all that shit, and then God, what else was happening? So yeah, that was all the way from like the late '70s up through
Oktoberfest.
yeah, Oktoberfest was happening.
Matt Pinfield, you had the tape, right? Remember Matt Pinfield?
I know Matt Pinfield, and he was singing to me, man. He was singing like a one of those cover songs. He's singing, singing to me. He's like, I think it was Psychotic Reaction. He's singing, Anyway, a video we had. My buddy Glenn Garces videotaped so many videos of us. Glenn Garces is out in San Francisco right now, and most of those videos I gave you, he filmed most of those. Anyway, so yeah, we're so we're up in Alaska, so we're kind of trying to get with Fritch here and to tell you all about what's going on, what we did in the past and stuff.
Little Melody, because you had the Melody.
Yeah, we hung out at the Melody sometimes, mostly at the Court. That was pretty much like focused on the Court Tavern. That's where we hung out most of the time.
Gardens?
Nah, I didn't really hang out at City Garden. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Nah, not really. I was kind of. You know what? I used to hang out. I used to hang out with Paul Decolator a lot. Me and Paul were pretty tight.
I have a copy of that fanzine.
Yeah.
The cover.
Yeah,
He's the original fanzine guy. Tips and tours.
Paul Decolator is like Paul Decolator is like the punk rock mogul of fucking Central Jersey. Like Paul Decolator was like the one who brought in all these bands playing at these like little shows. I saw like the Cops shutting down all these little shows, and it was just tons of stuff. He would be having like the Elks Lodge or the Legion Hall or whatever, have like 7 Seconds come in and do shows, and they were like, holy shit, what is going on? We're all slam dancing and stuff. It was fucking mayhem, It was great, So the Paul Decolator was a real big scene stir, and he had Tips and Tours magazine. He'd always have like punk rock shows like Heart Attack from New York, and they turned into later on it was like Jesse Malin and all these these guys. This guy would be like coming in, doing wild stage dives and shit. We had the Dicks coming from Texas. We had so many great punk bands.
Well, and you're from Franklin.
And that was at the Court Tavern. That was at the Court.
New Brunswick was a pretty crazy place.
Brunswick was where it was happening. Yeah. Well, Brunswick was pretty fucking wild back then. It was really cool. So we definitely did that. And man, what else was happening? It was like the music scene was happening. There was record stores, so like records were happening. There was the college radio was happening. RSC was definitely happening. You can still listen to Ed Wong on the radio. He's really great. We went down to Ed Wong and did an interview with him a couple weeks ago with my new band, Cliff and Ivy, and so it was fun. We had a good time.
Talk a little bit about your new stuff.
The new stuff, Cliff and Ivy. Yeah, it's me and Ivy Silence. And yeah, we've been doing it for like 2 years, working on this album. It's called Equilux, and it's we went down to LA and recorded this album with producer Ashley Witt, and it's pretty amazing. So we're really happy with it. It's like pop, kind of like pop industrial music. It's it's this weirdo pop music. So hopefully you'll dig it. You'll check it out.
My name is Kara Thrasher, as I was known back in the day, and Thrasher Livingston now. Also my internet name, Ivy Silence, for my reborn persona. But back in the day, when I first came to New Brunswick, I came here I was going to college. I went to Rutgers. I went to Mason Gross School of the Arts, Maison de Grotesque. And that is how I met many really cool people that I still am friends with nowadays. I went to school I graduated in '86, so that gives a year to it. But I used to live across the street from Mason Gross at the time, which was like in an old shopping, I guess it was a warehouse or a shopping thing or something. It was right on the same street that the Court was on. And, the building of the Court still is on. But it was right on the corner there. And first I lived in the dorms, but then I moved into this place because some of the other art students, lived there. And they were on the second floor. There was a video shop down on the first floor and like a bra shop, and that was the building that we lived in. So we went on I was up on the second floor, and so I could just roll out of bed and basically go to shows. I could get out of bed, I could go to the Court, hang out at the court and then just walk right back and go right to bed again, or whatever, and we got into the building, any time of day. We had a key card, so we would get in and out and stuff. We would do paintings and stuff like that. And I could go up on the second floor of the Mason Gross building at the time and just kind of hang out. We had lots of art openings and stuff like that, and bands playing and everything. And I remember when they made the deck, the parking deck, we used to try to skateboard in that. We used to get kicked out all the time. Just crazy stuff.
But you have good times.
But
The
yeah,
melody.
the melody. Yep.
How would you describe that to somebody? Because, like, along the way, it's like, oh, I know of this place, and
Yeah. The melody was awesome. We used to go to the melody to go dancing, and they used to play all the coolest music. Matt Pinfield DJ or whoever, they had great DJs there, but we used to just go there basically to get wasted and dance. And that was something that a lot of the art school people did. Like, the melody ranked up there with me, along with other clubs in New York that we would go to. Like, sometimes we'd go to New York, go to Limelight, go to Danceteria and places like that, and just hang out and stuff and dress all crazy and get let in. It was just kind of exciting to go up and get let in, like, oh, you're cool, that kind of stuff. It seems so stupid now, but it was really fun. The melody was a lot like that. And, they would I still listen to the music today. I still listen to all the different, you could hear something new. If Matt was there, you could hear something new. And I remember the dude who had the balloon, he would like shake the balloon all the time and make it look like it was a light or something. I don't know what he was doing, but it was really
a
fun.
lot of shows too. Because Rutgers
Yeah.
at that time
Yeah.
had concerts,
Yeah.
and like a lot of people would just like
Uh-huh.
somebody. It was like Star Wars. It was a beautiful thing because
Yeah.
if you were in Franklin or any
Mhm.
town, you could not get away with that. Like, if someone
No.
talking the melody,
Yeah.
you wouldn't even blink an eye if they were out of dress.
Oh, totally. We were like completely crazy all the time. Like, our style of dress was like nutty. I remember wearing just, leather jacket with like slogans painted all over it. I had different bands that I really liked. Like, I really liked the Wild Hairs band, even though I don't know that they were a huge band or whatever, but I saw them. I really liked them. So I had Wild Hairs on my jacket. Pleased Youth stuff and stickers and stuff like that. It just, whatever kind of bands I liked. We used to have mohawks. We used to have like color hair, but it was okay. You just walk right on in,
And that was the time that everybody left after 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
All these old men's bars.
Yeah.
There was like
Uh-huh.
Claire would be there.
Yeah.
She was on the Slaves in New Brunswick. But
Uh-huh.
all the people were like really cool.
Yeah.
So, like the older people.
Uh-huh.
It's a really transition time, man. Like people
Yeah.
like left the town, and then the town became this
Yeah.
cool thing for people that made their own music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. I mean, it was a pretty tight knit group. There was parties and houses too, like the Genocide House and Wendy's Place and stuff like that. Everybody was pretty tight, and they would support you. Like, they'd come out, oh, you have a new project, and anybody was welcome. I remember having like straight up underage people in our bands, but they were playing the trumpet, like, here's something new. Every 6 months we'd have a new band, and try something different,
So
and it was
must've been
fun.
pretty cool. Like, there's the picture of you with the screaming females.
Mhm.
Like, she was
Mhm.
probably the last band I saw play there. She
Yeah.
was as
Yeah.
any other guy knew. I mean, like, any
Yeah.
dude I saw played there,
Yeah.
she played as good as any fucking.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my instrument through all these years was drums, So I started playing drums in that apartment up above the bra shop that I was talking about. And Cliff and I, we used to, get together and jam. And he was like, hey, I want somebody to play drums. I want to play guitar. Let's make a band. I'm like, I can't play anything. Somebody had left the drum set up there. I don't remember who it was. It might have been from one of the bands. They were practicing there or whatever. Somebody left the drum set, and he was like, sit down and play. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. And I sat down and played, and I would practice to the Ramones and stuff and do whatever. And there was a parking lot down below that building, and I used to go down there to go to school. And one day the dude that worked in the parking, I mean, I was horrible on drums for a long time, but the dude that took the money in the parking lot, when I was passing by, he was like, you hear that drummer up in that building? Because he knew I came out of that building. That drummer up in that building, do you hear that? And I was like, yeah, I hear it. And he said, yeah, that drummer, he's getting to be pretty good. And I was like, yes, like I knew I was getting better at the time.
Well, it was
So,
like a voice club. It was
yeah.
a lot of women
there was a lot of women on stage. You know, most of the time I was the only female drummer on stage, but I would play in a few different bands, or I would stay on stage and like, you know, my one band would play, then my girl band would play, then, you know, just because it's hard to find drummers. It's hard to find somebody with the equipment and who knows how to do it. I still play drums to this day. I play synth now and keyboard and stuff and sing and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I love to see. It was a good scene. It was definitely a cool scene with a lot of acceptance to it. A lot of fun. I don't, you know, really know why I end up, you know, playing drums, but I ended up doing it and I really liked it. You know. Yeah.
Finish it up, but let's talk about the new music.
Okay.
Still do music. That's the
Yep.
beautiful thing of it.
Yeah, we still do music. We have our duo called Cliff and Ivy, which is like electronic, kind of dark wave. It's got like an orchestral edge to it. It's definitely danceable, definitely cool. It's more songwriting stuff. I did a lot of the songwriting on it, and just trying to make something cool. I feel like it's the new. Like if I went to the Melody today, what would I hear? You know, that kind of thing. We live in a completely different area of the world, but we come back to, you know, to play, and a lot of water has gone under the bridge, and I've gone back to school, gotten another, you know, education and all that. But one thing still stays is like we still have that creativity to, you know, that urge to create some kind of really awesome music that no one has made, you know, like this particular combination of notes, you know. So but yeah, we did a lot of that. I did a lot of well, I don't know about programming.